Welcome to the deep dive. You probably use Google stuff every single day,
Mm,
searching videos, your phone maybe.
yeah, constantly.
But the company behind it all, Alphabet, it's way bigger and more complicated than just those bits you see.
That's so true. Most people just equate Google with the search bar,
Hmm.
but it's really this sprawling empire, and figuring out what each part is actually worth and why it matters.
Yeah,
That's the interesting part.
exactly. So we've been doing a deep dive into an article that kind of pulls back the curtain, breaks down all these different business units inside Alphabet.
Right.
Our mission here is basically to give you a shortcut, help you understand the real value of these pieces, how they're doing financially, and, why they're so important for where Alphabet's headed. Seeing the big picture, not just the search box.
Okay, so let's unpack it. I mean, the foundation, the thing funding almost everything else is still Google search and, well, the other stuff bundled in that main category.
And that core, it's
Yeah.
absolutely massive. Pulled in something like, 56.6% of all their revenue in 2024? That's huge. But $198 billion.
Yeah, $198 billion. And the estimates for 2025 are pushing towards 215 to $225 billion. It's the cash cow.
Definitely the powerhouse. Analysts reckon it's worth, on its own, somewhere between maybe 1.2 and 1.7 trillion dollars.
It's just staggering. Think of it like the wellspring, you know?
Yeah.
It funds all the other bets, especially the really ambitious ones.
Okay, but here's where it gets, really interesting. You've got these two big breakout growth engines. They're becoming giants themselves. First one, YouTube.
Oh, yeah, YouTube. It's not just big anymore, it's colossal. In 2024, it brought in around $50 billion total. That's combining the ad revenue and the subscriptions.
Wow, $50 billion. That actually beat Netflix, didn't it? Netflix was about $39 billion that year.
It did. And the forecast for YouTube in 2025 is maybe $55 to $60 billion. So its standalone value is estimated around $450 to $500 billion. It's just critical for keeping people entertained and, engaged in the Google world.
Right, and the other big growth engine, Google Cloud.
Yes, Google Cloud. This is their big push into enterprise computing, selling server power and services to businesses, puts them right up against Amazon's AWS and Microsoft Azure.
And cloud is a huge focus now, moving beyond just ads. What was it, $43 billion revenue in 2024? Growing super fast, like 30%.
Yeah, 30% growth is strong. Estimates for 2025 are hovering around $55 to $58 billion. And the really interesting thing, as you mentioned, is it actually turned profitable late in 2024.
That's a huge milestone, right?
Absolutely. It shows it can stand on its own 2 feet, fund its own growth. It's still smaller than AWS or Azure, maybe 12% market share, but they're investing heavily. They just bought that security company, Wiz, for $32 billion.
Wow.
So analysts are valuing cloud somewhere between, say, $350 and $450 billion.
Okay, so those are the giants and the rising stars.
Mhm.
What about the more steady, established parts?
Well, you've got the Google network. This is the system that puts Google ads on other websites and apps, not just search or YouTube.
Ah, right, so monetizing the rest of the web.
Exactly. That brought in about $30 billion in 2024, expected to be kind of flat for 2025. Its value is estimated around $80 billion, still very significant.
And then Android and the Google Play Store,
Yeah, can't forget Android. It dominates mobile globally, something like 70% market share.
which is just incredible. And the Play Store, people spent around $55.5 billion in the store in 2024. Google gets a cut of that, right?
They do. The estimate for Google's take is maybe $15 to $20 billion a year. For 2025, probably around $17 billion. So that whole Android Play unit is valued around $80 billion too, and it's crucial for keeping people locked into Google's mobile world.
Okay, makes sense. What about hardware? Pixel phones, Nest, Fitbit?
Right, Google hardware. They're estimated to sell maybe $13 to $15 billion worth next year, but it's generally a lower margin business.
So the value isn't huge profit.
Not primarily.
Yeah.
The estimated value is maybe $20 to $30 billion. Its real worth is strategic. It anchors people to Google services. If you own a Pixel phone, you're probably using Google Assistant, Google Photos. It keeps you sticky.
Got it. Strategic glue. Okay, finally, the really futuristic stuff, the moonshots.
Yeah, the big bets for the future, funded by search money. They don't make much revenue now, but the potential value, that's the story.
And the biggest one everyone's talking about is AI, right? DeepMind, Gemini.
Definitely. Minimal direct revenue right now, mostly used internally or with partners, but the valuation estimates are, well, all over the place. Cautious view, maybe $150 billion. Really bullish view, including their AI chips and user base, could be up to $700 billion.
Whoa, that's a huge range.
It is. It reflects the uncertainty, but also the immense potential. This is Alphabet's answer to OpenAI, which people are valuing around $300 billion. It's critical for them.
And then there's Waymo, self-driving cars.
Waymo. Tiny revenue now, maybe $181 million estimated for 2025. Its current value is pegged around $45 to $60 billion. But if robotaxis become a real scaled thing,
The potential is massive.
exactly. Bullish cases see it worth maybe $300 to $850 billion by 2030. It's a massive bet on the future of how we get around.
And there are others too, right? In that other bets category.
Yeah, smaller ventures. Verily in healthcare tech, Calico looking at longevity, Wing doing drone delivery, Intrinsic with robotic software. They only brought in about $1.6 billion combined in 2024. Small numbers now, but it shows Alphabet is still planting seeds for entirely new industries.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. When you add all these pieces together, what does the whole picture look like?
Well, if you tally up the estimates, Alphabet's total revenue for 2025 looks to be somewhere between, say, $384 billion and $411 billion. And the implied value, adding up all those parts we talked about, lands somewhere between $2.38 trillion and $3.68 trillion. Let's call the midpoint around $3 trillion.
So the big takeaways from this deep dive seem pretty clear. Search is still king, over half the revenue, funding everything.
Right.
But YouTube and cloud are these massive, fast-growing engines, maybe worth nearly $1 trillion combined soon, diversifying the company away from just ads.
Yeah, that diversification is key.
Then you have the ads network and Android play as these stable $100 billion-ish pillars. Hardware is strategic. And the moonshots, AI and Waymo especially, are these high-value lottery tickets on the future, even if they don't make much money today.
It really is a structure built on today's ad profits, funding tomorrow's potentially revolutionary, but yeah, risky technologies.
It definitely makes you think about what Alphabet will be. So here's a final thought for you to chew on. If those moonshots like Waymo, and especially AI with DeepMind Gemini, actually hit those super optimistic valuations, becoming trillion-dollar businesses in their own right, how could that completely change what Alphabet is known for, its whole identity and main value driver, over the next 10 years or so?